Hello, I'm Ali Langdon. Welcome to A Current Affair. Our history with Australia's most wanted. Coming up, the day our reporter came face to face with Desi Freeman, the man accused of killing 2 police officers in rural Victoria. But first, they were murdered in cold blood. Victoria's Police Chief Commissioner speaking about the 59-year-old detective and 35-year-old senior constable who lost their lives today in rural Victoria. A third detective is undergoing surgery. He's going to be okay.
The suspect for this horrific event is still at large. We believe he is armed. We have deployed every specialist resource into this area to locate him. It is our priority. Our priority is to arrest him, to ensure that he's held to account for the actions, but also very much to bring safety and security to this community.
Well, almost 9 hours into the search for Desi Freeman, and as we just heard, every possible resource is being thrown at hunting him down. So how has the alleged gunman, who's believed to have his wife and children with him, stayed hidden so far? Locals have their theories, and Brendan Crew is in Porepunkah tonight. Brendan, what are you hearing?
Well, Ali, we're hearing that he may have been expecting this. We've spoken to some locals here who've known him for years and say he's lived in the area for years and knows it like the back of his hand. He knows how to survive in the bush and he knows what to do out there. We're hearing he may even have a bunker or a safe space set up because he's expecting the law enforcement to come after him at some point. That's how deep his mind goes with his conspiracy theories.
So, Brendan, I know you spoke to Freeman's neighbour this afternoon who says he's been spiralling these past few years.
Yeah, we spoke with a man who lived next to him for a few years and witnessed his mental state really go downhill. We know he's a sovereign citizen, which means that he has no respect for the law and thinks he's above the law. And we know he's been in trouble with the law, trying to get around it as well. He's been arrested many times. Police know him in these parts.
And look, we just heard from police. This is the first time we've heard from them in the past hour. And to listen to them, Brendan, they are broken because I think this is always in the back of their minds when they go to work each day. But the police commissioner was explaining that 10 officers were executing that search warrant. There was a risk assessment done because Freeman was known to them. But it just goes to show that this is a dangerous job.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we've spoken to some police officers here and you can see they're broken, you can see they're hurting, but you sort of have to park that and put it to one side because they've got a job to do as well. They have to protect this town of 1,000 people, which is usually thriving. Everyone knows everyone, but at the moment it's a ghost town and everyone's living in a bit of fear. We've spoken to some people here who are terrified. They're locking up their houses tonight knowing that there's an active gunman out there.
Devastating. Yeah. For a small knit community like this, it's devastating. And we've lost 2 innocent coppers.
Heart goes out to the police officers' families.
It's terrible. Yeah, everyone would know each other out here, so yeah, it's awful.
It's a pretty rough country out there, isn't it?
Up in here it is, yes. Very rough.
You'd have to know what you're doing.
And he does.
Yeah.
Well, he's been living up there for a long time.
Yeah.
He'd know.
Yeah.
He'd know where to hide.
Yeah, Brenton, it is looking like a long night ahead. You can only imagine how those locals are feeling, the fact that you've effectively got a town in lockdown. Let's hope that they find him before anyone else is hurt. Thanks for that. Well, A Current Affair has history with Desi Freeman, the man police are still searching for tonight. But he wasn't the villain in our story 7 years ago. He claimed he was the victim, at war with his neighbours. Reporter Muddy King met him.
It is full-out war, and they are the instigators of it.
Who is Desi Freeman, the man accused of shooting 3 police officers today? I spent an entire day with him and his family back in 2018. Desi and his wife Marley claimed they were being harassed and intimidated by neighbours. The family told me this was their little piece of heaven.
perfect paradise, and it's so peaceful.
But they claimed it was paradise lost because of behaviour like this.
These dirt bike ferals move here and they think it's the Wild West.
That day, Desi Freeman seemed genuine. He seemed genuinely upset. A man protecting and defending his family. Well, that was the appearance. But I do recall that day, he seemed very obsessive. The sort of man who would talk at you and not to you.
All we wanted is peace. That's all we wanted, peace.
Marley was a music teacher. Locals said she was renowned for her talent and peaceful nature. What did you think could happen or might happen?
Oh, anything could happen. It's the fear of the unknown.
That was your fear?
Yes, that was my fear.
After spending that Saturday with Desi, his wife and 2 young sons, I left with 3 thoughts on my mind. He said, they said, and what really happened. We spoke to the neighbours back in 2018, but they didn't want to tell their side of the story. Can you ask your wife to let you talk? Since then, Desi Freeman has had run-ins with police.
What's your name? What's your name?
Desi Freeman.
We now know that Freeman identifies as a sovereign citizen.
I arrest you for acting oppressively and when interested and perverting the course of justice.
This was Freeman in a Victorian country court in 2021.
Take note that the magistrate is under arrest for serious crimes committed against me.
We also know that 10 police went to Freeman's property this morning to execute warrants. After 7 years, who knew it would end like this?
It is full-out war, and they are the instigators of it.
You can spend a day with a man, but who really knows the person within?
Well, Peter Moroney is a retired detective who served in the New South Wales Police Force for almost 20 years. Really appreciate you coming in tonight, Peter. We are all feeling this, but every single person who puts on that uniform is really hurting right now.
Yeah, look, they will be, and it doesn't matter if we're talking police in particular. I think you'll talk law enforcement, first responders across the board. Look, as you said in your introduction, it's a job they'll sign up to knowing there's that risk, but they'll still go forward and do that anyway. But the real reason they'll do it is to help. They want to help the victims. They want to help those people that can't help themselves. And you can ask any officer in uniform or a detective and they'll give you the same answer.
Yeah, I mean, you've been here, you've lost friends, colleagues in the force. It's a day you don't really get over, isn't it?
No, look, it's not. You know, unfortunately, I've had 3 friends being killed in the spate of just on the 18 years that I was a member of the New South Wales Police. It may sound a bit silly that you'll hear of a police officer dying and perhaps interstate, and it does resonate. But when it is someone that you know, it brings it home a lot closer to give you that realisation that your job is dangerous or can be dangerous at times. Yeah. But again, we'll certainly do it from the point that you'll do it because you want to help.
And I just think of those officers who are on the ground, they're working very, very hard tonight. It's almost like they have to put that grief to the side, don't they? Because there is still a job to do. This person is out there, this person is armed, there is a community at risk. They've just got to get on with it.
Yeah, it sounds very fundamental, doesn't it? But yes, you're right, they do have to simply get on with it. And depending on what we talk about here, we're going to have multiple police from multiple disciplines being at that scene. You'll have crime scene investigators, you'll have the tactical teams that are there, the dog units that are there. They will, I have no doubt, know or have a degree of knowledge around the people that have been unfortunately killed. That will make it harder. But they are professional. I have no doubt Victorian police are some of the most professional that there are in the world, and I have no doubt they will bring this job to a resolution.
I think most of us hearing this today, our first thoughts were the eerie similarities between this and Weeambilla, that shooting 3 years ago where 2 young constables were shot and killed by so-called sovereign citizens. So many similarities.
Look, there is, and you know, we certainly don't want to speculate, and we'll leave that because I have no doubt a coroner will look into these matters and those similarities will be drawn. The sovereign citizens are a unique risk unto themselves, and not only to law enforcement. We train a number of regulators around the country and they will tell you of ample problems that they have and encounter. And that will certainly be a key part of the coronial inquiry that will come.
Yeah, and I guess here we are speaking a little bit more broadly. Yep. But when you look at these radicals, and a lot we saw came about during those pandemic years when people were shut up, but they were closed up, I should say, but like they follow these conspiracy theories, they believe the government is illegitimate, they hate police. That is scary stuff.
Yeah, look, it is, and the phenomenon of being a sovereign citizen is certainly coming to the forefront. You see ample YouTube videos that get placed on at all times, and for your viewers, simply a sovereign citizen is someone who does not recognise the law of the country that they're in, and they basically want to do what they want to do. When you have someone who has no regard for the laws of the country and who will operate under their steam, that creates a significant risk not only to law enforcement, anyone who is a government-based representative, nurses, doctors, regulatory officers that are around the country, but they will create a risk to the public in due course. That's without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is no other job where you get out of bed each day knowing that your life is possibly at risk.
Look, you're spot on, Ali, but, you know, and as I say, you could talk to any current former serving law enforcement officer. They understand that risk, they'll accept that risk, but it's there because they want to do a greater good and help those that can't help themselves.
Absolutely, really appreciate your time.
My pleasure,
Peter.
thank you.
Thank you. And can I say right now that our thoughts are with those officers' loved ones and the entire police force. You go to work each day to protect us, you should come home safely to your families. Well,